Exceed Southeastern Psychological Association case study. Can you tell us a little about SEPA and your role with the association?
My name is Tim Hanchon. Among my roles, I am the administrative officer for the Southeastern Psychological Association, otherwise known as SEPA. SEPA is one of 7 regional associations that's under the umbrella of the American Psychological Association. So mainly our association is focused on executing one annual meeting per year. This coming year, we'll be meeting in April in Atlanta, Georgia. And we expect anywhere from 1,200 to 1,700 folks who are involved in psychology in various roles. So it's a pretty neat experience. And yeah, Exceed has helped us to really make that meeting experience all the better.
What is the size of the team responsible for managing the conference operations?
So beyond me, we just hired what we call an associate administrative officer. So she just started up in September and has been really very, very productive in a short amount of time. And then we have a couple of part-time folks who execute various roles, but really it's a small staff.
What were the pain points that led you to look for a new software partner in the first place?
So back in, I want to say 2021, early summer, we were informed by the previous company that we were working with that the software that we had been using to organize our membership and then our meeting registration, they used the term sunsetting, but basically they were discontinuing that software and they were going to transition into a new, what they called improved software. But the timeline that they gave us really was problematic in terms of when we typically operate our cycle. So we run a fiscal year from September 1st to August 31st. And long story short, there really wasn't any guarantee that by the time we reached September 1st that they were going to be fully operational. And one of the concerns was that the membership module piece was not guaranteed to communicate with the meeting registration piece. And so we weren't comfortable with that. So we have a regional listserv. So I put out a message to that and just solicited feedback from others, like what are you all using as far as your software vendor and whatnot. And Exceed came up multiple times. So we certainly were interested in that, made an appointment to speak with you and liked what we heard and really liked the personal feel of the company. So it's nice knowing who the people are that we're dealing with. One of the, you mentioned pain points. One of the issues that I personally had with our previous vendor was that it felt like we were constantly shuffled. So it didn't feel like we were one of their bigger accounts. And so we would constantly get a new accounts manager, or I didn't never really feel comfortable knowing who I'm going to talk to, or if there's a problem, who I need to go to, because it was just constant shuffling for us. So one of the nice things about being with Exceed is I know who the president of the company is, I know who the other players are, and when I have a need, I know who to contact, and they're very responsive, and that's been of huge benefit and appreciation to us.
How was the software transition and the learning curve?
Positive. I wouldn't sit here and say it was 100% painless because, again, it felt sort of like a rush decision, but it felt like some of the circumstances that prompted it were a little bit beyond our control. So, we were trying to operate within a timeline where we want to have things up and running by September 1st. And I know that was a challenge for your team because the runway to get there was a little bit shorter than what anybody would have liked. But you all rose to the task and we got there. And again, it took us a little while to figure things out. And I'm still learning things. But again, I would speak to just when I have a question or when I have a need, I know the support is there. And I know the answers will be taken care of relatively quickly. And so again, it helps us to be more efficient in what we're doing, because if there's an obstacle, we can bypass it pretty quickly and then get back to business.
What is one thing that stands out to you about the platform?
Really, it's kind of a one-stop shop. So for example, we had one vendor we were using for our membership and then our meeting registration. We had a separate piece of software that we're using for our submissions and our reviews. So everything is just all in one umbrella, if you will. And so it's for our attendees, for our members and whatnot, it's nice for them to be able to just log in, pay their membership dues, register for the meeting, submit their proposals, and just, call it a day from there. So you're not having to think about multiple passwords and all of those little details that go into it. I think one of the things that prompted Marty to approach me about doing this was the previous submission system we were using. They had a more or less an automatic assignment wizard for reviewers. So if you had, say, 500 proposals and your reviewers have specific areas that they want to review and want to forego others, the software would take that into account and automatically assign them just the proposals that they were interested in reviewing, or at least the subject areas. So one of the first meetings that we had with Corey when we were going through the process for the first time, I had mentioned that. And I guess he relayed that up to your development team, and you all now have a very similar tool. So whereas I was having for the past couple of years to more or less manually assign proposals to reviewers based on their preferences, this year it was just done in like 5 seconds. It was amazing. And so I emailed Marty, like, thank you for implementing this tool. It made my life so much easier this year. And so I think that's another benefit to working with Exceed is you all are receptive to your clients' feedback and try to implement the new ideas or that feedback into what y'all are doing.
Are you satisfied with the customer support that you get?
Yeah, 100%. I've primarily worked with Corey. Corey's been absolutely fabulous to us. He'll take time, if we need to jump on a Zoom call and just sort of problem solve, or we're unsure about how to approach a certain task. He will always take time to walk through it with us. Or in the past, he's taken time to sort of create little videos, tutorials, if you will, that shows us like his path, what he's doing, and how we can navigate the software on the back end easier. So 100% the customer support has been fabulous and vastly improved to what we were accustomed to previously.
To learn more about how Exceed can help your organization, please reach out today.